Alright, what we're working on is a 2000 Celica GTS. Problem we're having is the air conditioning is being cranky. Used to work just fine. Thought maybe just need to be recharged. So first thing I checked was the refrigerant charge, and you do that on the low side port in the back there. Shouldn't have to explain how to do that. If you don't know how to do it, take it somewhere and let them do it. Anyways, I had pressure. I've got all the there's refrigerant in the systems. That's not a problem. Next thing I checked was up front here on the high pressure switch, the high pressure low pressure switch. What this does is if you don't have enough refrigerant in your system, or you have too much, that will sense the high and low pressure, and if it doesn't sense the correct amount of pressure within a certain window, it will shut off the clutch for your air conditioning compressor. So the way to test that is pull the plug off, and this one's got a couple different color wires, orange, blue, then there's two white ones with black stripes on. Now keep in mind, I don't have a book for this. I'm just going off general knowledge, but what the switch does is it just continues all the circuits inside there. So, and I'm just gonna guess that there's four in there. So the two, this one over here and this one on the bottom, are one, and then this one on this side and the one on the other side are another one. So the way to do that is to take your voltmeter and put it on your ohm setting. Just check for continuity. If you know the pressure's what it's supposed to be, if it's within that window and there's continuity in there, that means the switch is working just fine. It's doing its job. So it's not the switch. Did that, not the switch. So then I started looking for like a relay or something for the air conditioning compressor, and I realized that the compressor is kicking on for about 5 seconds and it's shutting off. So it's looking for a sensor, some kind of reading, but it's not getting it. So I was just going to rig it up somehow so that, I could just flip a switch in the dash. This is a beater car, so I'm not too worried about it. As long as the stuff works, I don't care what it looks like. So the next thing we did, I wanted to, usually the AC compressor, the wiring harness has two wires on it, and it energizes the clutch on the compressor. So my thinking was I was just going to find the harness that plugs into it, disconnect it, hook it to a switch, and then just put it on a rocker switch in the dash on the panel or something that I could turn it on and off myself. It's a very hack way to do it. It's there's no safety checks when you do it like that, but is what it is. Now when I opened that up, I found that this is the plug. It plugs in right down there on your AC compressor. So when I opened this up, I noticed that there's 3 wires on here, not 2. And the green one was broken. So I thought, okay, well, what does that 3rd wire go to? Now I haven't looked it up online. I haven't found anything definite. I haven't bought a book for it. But what I've come to conclude is that the 2 wires that are still connected in there are, that's actually the power and ground that goes to your clutch. That's what engages your clutch. This green wire, I think it looks for a signal from your compressor telling it that yes, it is running, and when it gets that signal, it will leave it running. But if it doesn't get that signal, like say the car's been parked at a used car lot for 3 years and hasn't ran, and for some reason the AC compressor just is shot, like it doesn't, it's seized up. If it sees that it's not moving, it will shut it. It will disengage the clutch, so your fan belt, or your serpentine belt can spin freely. Well, that wire was broke, so I'm guessing. Like I said, I don't have a book. I haven't. I'm just going by some general knowledge here, troubleshooting. I'm assuming that that's what that green wire does, is looking for a signal, and since the wire was broke, it's not getting that signal, so the computer is shutting the AC compressor off after about 5 seconds. So what I did is I took the wire, I stripped it, and before I put that blue connector on there, I hooked up a jumper wire right here, and I started the car up, turned the air conditioning on. And first I looked to see, I took my voltmeter to see if this had positive volts coming out of it or if it was a ground. And it doesn't have power coming out of it. It's looking for a signal. So I found out that if I run 12 volts to this green wire, it's enough to tell the computer that, hey, everything's working as it should be. It's getting the signal. I'm lying to it, telling that the compressor's running. And the only way you're going to run into an issue with this is if for some reason the compressor does seize up and nothing's turning, or if you're having an issue where it wants it, that fail-safe. That's one fail-safe that I'm getting rid of right now. And I don't really care, because if the compressor sees and it's not turning, it's not giving a signal that it's turning, I'm probably going to hear it with that belt. So I'm not too worried about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably, because it's the easiest way to do it, I could look for, in the loom over here, I could look for a wire over there that's positive, but this car is 17 years old right now, and you start cutting wires apart like that, like just looking for a positive. You don't know what you're going to break. You don't know what you're going to run into. So what I'm going to do is I've got some wire over here, and I'm just going to run positive wire directly to the battery. I'll probably throw a fuse in there, just because, no one needs any fires starting. I'll probably run a positive wire going to the battery and plug it in here and run it for a day. If everything works fine, then great. Otherwise, worst case scenarios, I go to a junkyard and find a new plug. I can tell you that trying to find this plug online, like for a pigtail, it's pretty tough. For one, not even sure. I've tried calling it a bunch of different things: AC compressor harness, AC compressor connector, AC clutch connector, clutch harness. Now, I've tried all that stuff, and nothing really seems to come up on any of the websites that I try, or even Google in general. Like, I'm not having too good luck. And I could always go down to the junkyard and just snip one of these wires off and then just cut all three and splice a new one on. I could do that, maybe in the summertime if I head down to the junkyard. If they've got a celica in there, I might do that, but this is going to work for now. You think, oh, well, it's just starting to warm up in the season. It's starting to, yesterday was pretty nice. It's supposed to be in the 60s today. You think, oh, you don't need air conditioning yet. Why do it now? Well, my defrosters also, when you turn your defroster on, most vehicles it'll turn on the AC compressor, and it does help defrost your windshield in a rather quick fashion. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to run a positive wire from here over to the battery. We're going to zip tie it up so we don't have any issues, the wires getting caught in any fans, and hopefully get in, start it up, and turn the air conditioner on. It'll work great. Alright, so I didn't get as much done as I wanted to, but the wire is connected. The clutches, or the AC compressor is plugged back in. So I have a green wire, which I'm going to stick with green because that's what is down there, and plus I got a short piece. The red wire, this is just a jumper going to the positive terminal of the battery. So we're going to test it out and make sure that everything works right. Now before, when you plug it in, or when you start it up, come on, focus. There we go. When you'd start it up, hit the AC, the light would come on. It would run for a couple seconds, then the light would start blinking. All right. So we're on cold here. Just turn that air on, and it looks good. The air is very cold coming out of there. And the compressor, where is it? We're doing good. So that's that. Thanks for watching.